Is your life about just happiness and sadness? Because if it was, then I think your life would be like TV commercials. You'd come in every 2 hours, 1 hour for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds at best, and then you're gone. So life is not about being a TV commercial. It's not about happiness and sadness. Because you're so involved with happiness and sadness, you miss out on most of the details, and the details is your life. Your life is actually like a team sport. You know how a team sport is played? A team sport is played with everybody around you, all the other players, which means players on your side and players who are not playing on your side, the opposite team. So just imagine you're in a game of basketball and you don't have the ball. So when you don't have the ball, do you stop playing? Do you stop running? And imagine if you didn't have the ball and you were running, but you're running at your own pace, at your own leisure, out of scope, out of plan. What would happen? Number one, your team would lose. And because your team would lose, you would lose. Your life is just like that. Your life is all about trying to play your part in a larger scheme of things. And a larger scheme of things usually is what your life is all about. Your life involves other people. Your life involves people around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues. Your life involves people you don't know, people who may have a very fundamental and important role in changing your lives, people you'll meet for the first time, people you have never thought you would like, people you never thought you would dislike. That's what your life is all about. Now, because most of you spend so much time trying to pursue happiness, you don't realize that the pursuit of happiness is actually a process. And hence, every time you're sad, your life should not stop. So defeat, failure, rejection should not stop your life, because every time you stop, you're like that basketball player who stopped running because he does not have the ball. And in the bargain, everybody loses. You need to realize that there's a lot that happens around you that you don't pay attention to. If you start paying attention to it, a lot of things will change in your life. Your eyes that God has given you for free, take something like 10 million bytes per second. That's data going into your brain. That's as fast as an Ethernet cable, all right? So you have a lot of data that comes into you, but unfortunately you don't process it. And because you don't process it, you don't have time to understand it, which means you stop running in a basketball game. You can't do that. What you need to start doing is you need to start processing things that are happening around you, so that you start paying attention to detail, because victory or defeat, success or failure is an event in your life. It's not your life itself. You need to begin to realize that events do not decide what your life is all about. You get to decide what your life is all about. When you begin to understand the concept of working constantly, creating enough frequency in everything that you do, you need to start believing in yourself that you can prepare for things, because that is the only thing you can do. When you go to a job interview and you don't get selected, most of the times it is not your fault. It's just that the interviewer was bad, was having a bad day, just didn't like you. It had nothing to do with what you did. It may be the case that one of the other candidates was better than you. Again, it's not in your control. You cannot control somebody else's abilities, can you? So you get to do what you have to do. You just need to play your part. And your part comes off and on, which means you're not always put in the center of the stage. Your life is not actually a stage, but it is. Because when you are on the stage, you just play your part. And when you're off the stage, you're busy reading your script, preparing for other people to finish their part, their script. So you need to basically understand that if you want to be successful or even get closer to success, you have to provide consistency in your life. And consistency in your life will come if you constantly develop yourself. If you constantly begin to process all of these amazing bytes of information that's coming to you as visuals, as sound, as feelings, as knowledge, and you start understanding what you can do with that information. So constantly process and understand everything around you. And that way, when the time comes for you to perform, you will perform very well. Your performance will not lead you to be emotionally down or emotionally high, because most of the time you must be thinking you don't deserve this failure, you don't deserve this sadness. But on the other side, you might also be feeling that person doesn't deserve this victory, that person does not deserve this happiness, right? So it's your perception of happiness and sadness that makes you feel good or bad. You need to start changing that, because if you start believing that events define and decide who you are, you would always remain where you are. You will never move ahead. So you need to keep moving ahead, and most of the time you will move ahead with failure. You will move ahead with defeat. And that moving ahead, that momentum is actually going to take you to success. So you will have to believe the fact that most of your life you will just keep preparing for an event. And when the event happens, you will not wait in your life to see whether you're successful or whether you're a failure. Because if you stop, then you will be like that player in a basketball game who stopped just because the ball was not in his hand or in her hand. So don't stop playing because the ball is not in your hand. Keep running, work with the team, and work to a plan. Your life will be a whole lot different if you just understand that your life involves many other people, many other parts, many other scripts, and you need to do your bit. So life is a stage, you go play your part in it.